Hello, folks. This is Karen Garman, your sociology instructor. Let's just talk a little bit about, first of all, by now I'm sure you read and you understand, you know what sociology is all about. And basically, it's the study of human behavior. It's a study of us, it's a study of them, those, you, all of us, and how we behave and why we behave the way that we do. And it also is a study of how we come about thinking the way that we think. And it's very important because sociology, the study of sociology, so the study of human behavior, we have to ensure that it has a historical context. So we start with some theory, sociological theory. But before we get to that, the study of sociology, it connects both macro and micro levels, and we'll talk about that too. Basically, what that means connects our personal experiences to larger social forces. And with sociology, we just kind of find out who we are and kind of where we fit into this big atmosphere or this social strata, if you will. Where do we fit, and why do we think the way we do? Sociology is not at all a study about changing anyone's or challenging anyone's personal beliefs or seek to change them, shall I say, or their values or morals or anything like that. Um, it is just a study of, first of all, being open. One of the things that is most important is to be able to develop a sociological imagination or a sociological perspective. How do you do that? Well, it's easier said than done, but with practice, we can do it. And hopefully, you've been reading along and just kind of trying to figure this out on your own, but you don't have to figure it out on your own. I'm here to tell you, to explain it to you. So, what that means is that it challenges us, the study of sociology, to kind of take all the things that we know, that we've learned, that we believe is right or wrong or good or bad or best, and just kind of put them in a little bucket or put them in a little box or something, if you will. Don't abandon them because they're still there, they're with us, but just kind of put them there and start with a clean slate. And let's just be as objective as possible to look at things and see why they are the way they are. One of the things I used to ask in intro is we used to talk about common sense and why isn't that the best authority to go on. Now, there's something to be said about common sense, but common sense also, there are things lacking like expertise oftentimes or science, sometimes even a good measure of right or wrong or good or bad. But see, here's the thing. Now, it might get a little confusing, but I don't want to lose you here. The study, when we're studying to get our own sociological perspective, we're actually not looking to see who's right or wrong. We're just looking to see how and why. And then we'll analyze it and determine from there whether or not we think something is a good idea, a bad idea, whether we think it's just or unjust. Some things like common sense that we take for granted. When I say we, I'm speaking of those of us who were born and are used to the Western culture. So, for an example, and even that's so vast, but oftentimes we think something as simple as peanut butter. Well, that's peanut butter is nutritious, right? It's healthy. It has the good fats in it, so nutritionists will say, of course, not too much. Everything in moderation. It's filling, and children love it. And most of us, many of us, grew up on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now, contrast that with someone I had in my class one time, and this was not even in a sociology class. And she asked a very good question, and she says, "Well, I just want to understand something." She was, and I wish I could remember which country she was from. I don't remember, but she said, "I don't understand why you all give your children peanut butter." And so a lot of the class just kind of stopped and looked at her like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, I mean, it's fattening. It's very hard to digest. So many people have allergies to it, and I mean, it can even be deadly." So we look at things now, and we really don't. As a matter of fact, when you go on a plane, it used to be that you always get peanuts as a snack. That is long since gone because so many people have allergies to it or have developed allergies. And so, what was common sense to one may not be common sense to another, but neither are right or necessarily wrong. So, it's just a matter of perspective. So, now we're going to study sociological theory when we're in here. In this class, we're trying to understand sociology. We need to go by theory. Some of the major theories will be your functionist theory, your conflict theory, and your symbolic interactionism. Um, the functionist theory, I'm pretty sure by now, okay, let me say this. Theories themselves don't do anything. They just help to explain a perspective. So those that feel lean more heavily towards that society acts in a functionalist way would assert that everything and everyone has a purpose. You need the good and the bad. Everything kind of balances out. And if you think about it like the functionalism, how it works, like a whole bunch of gears that work together, and everything has to work in its place. And we need this, that, and everything else in order for it to go just right. And if anything else, if something breaks or something, a system is not right, then everything kind of breaks down. So functionalism means everything has its place, even crime, even everything has its place, even poverty, even wealth. Everything has its place, and that's how we function. Conflict theory would mean, and that's a macro level, by the way, macro meaning large. Um, Conflict theory is also another macro level, and that's basically, and I'm going to summarize this very, very quickly, and that's basically the haves and the have-nots. There's always constant conflict, and when one group assumes, maybe rightfully or maybe not rightfully, that their power or prestige or something or access to resources is at threat, then there's a conflict and something is going awry here. It doesn't work, and some people think that is how society works, based on that conflict, because some are always trying to get this and some are always trying to take more. There's a give and take, but usually it's a struggle. No one wants to give. Someone may want to take, but that's a conflict. So you think about it, these theories kind of sound, they are very much like they sound like functionalism. Everything has a function. Conflict theory, that this society or a society operates through conflict. And then there's a symbolic interactionism. That is a micro level. That symbolic interactionism, that means that we're studying behavior, not groups of behaviors, like in the conflict and functionalist theories, but in the symbolic interactionist theory, that we're some micro level where we're looking at and observing how people interact with one another one on one, or maybe in a group of three. And that symbolic interactionism is how we interact based on basically what we think other people are thinking of us, perhaps. And it is that small interaction between the very few that determines, basically explains how the world operates. But we also, in the symbolic interactionist theory, it's heavily based on symbols like language. Um, and so there is a huge difference in those theories, but we need all of them. So why though? What's the importance of theory? And in introduction to sociology, it is important that you understand theory, because before we go on to any of the others, I know that advanced Gramble, we teach a lot of different sociology, a lot of different undergrad sociology courses, which is great for me, but more so than what a lot of two-year schools do. But it's important that we understand those theories. So why is theory so important? Well, first of all, um, theory is important because it helps us to understand society. It's scientific. Theories don't change. We can add to them, but they help us to explain and to analyze problems and issues that are going on. They guide research. Sociology is heavily researched, and it is a social science. Why is it a science? Because we use scientific methods, both qualitative and quantitative, to conduct our research. Sociology is not about hearsay. Sociology is not about, I talked about this a few moments ago. It's not just about common sense and what you think is right, but what you think. That has a very small element to the overall study of sociology. Sociology also, theories also, shall I say, explain social change. They can also inform policy and practice. So the insights gained from sociological theories, really, we oftentimes use these, policymakers use these studies to support how they vote or how they govern. at all, or what they think is maybe legal or lawful, or should be unlawful. And it provides different perspectives. Again, so sociological theories are very, very important. It connects both the micro and the macro level. So there are so many social systems too. Let me say this also within sociology, and they all intersect. They intersect quite often. Social institutions like the educational system, religion, that's a system. That's a social system also. Let's see, healthcare, um, anything, marriage and family. These all these social institutions. Did I say education? It's government. All these different social institutions, they intersect with one another to explain the different theories and to explain human behavior. So, also, and particularly in newer um, add on theories, shall I say, they provide a cultural sensitivity. And that puts into perspective, if you will, sensitivity about how certain cultures shape our social behavior. And trust me when I say they do. And lastly, it has a historical context. So, and we start off with the early theories because it does have a historical context. And, it's just mind blowing that those early theories are still very much, although they've been added on to, we have sociologists that are constantly adding on to some of those theories. Those major theories, those first three theories, major theories, functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism, they still remain. And of course, the feminist theory also. But those major theories are still what guide us and what shapes our studies today. So again, one of the primary thing I think in introduction to sociology is being able to develop your sociological perspective. And that means being as objective as possible. And sometimes that can be hard to do. And it doesn't, what sociology doesn't ask you to do, though, is abandon everything what you thought. But it asks you to kind of put that aside to be as objective as humanly possible. I mean, we are our experiences. We know that. We can't just totally abandon that, and no one is asking you to. But we need to be objective. We need to be open. We need to be willing to learn and to try to understand others, as I'm sure others will definitely be trying to understand us. If you need me for any reason, you know how to contact me, and I will be back to talk to you soon. But always, you can reach out to me. I think all my information is on the syllabus. What's not on the syllabus is my telephone number. I usually don't give it out except during the summer, but I do want you to be able to contact me. So that is 919-537-6803. I will say texting is easiest. When you text me, make sure you give me your name so I know who I'm talking to, and let me know what you want, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Have a wonderful day or evening whenever you're looking at this, and I will be back to talk to you soon. Take care.